welcome to another episode of Hard Factor, presented by the Barstool News Network. It is Thursday, September the 3rd, 2020. And boys, I had a quote yesterday from Erica from Token CEO. I've got a quote again today. Intern Cam Esquire hit us with this one right before the show. He said, "There's a meme du jour every day." And you should check out his work on BNN, Twitter, and Instagram. He's pushing us to be more active on social after our discussion last week.
That's right.
Yep.
Meme du jour?
He's right. Every day is there's a meme of the day every day.
Well, I'm posting a lot of food pics, so you guys better catch up with that.
Well, why are you doing that? It's a diet content.
No, I'm not eating anymore.
Because it's healthy food.
Is it? Well, I mean, what food is really healthy?
No,
when you're trying to lose
air
weight?
is healthier than any food, like than your food.
You guys aren't eating?
No, I'm eating. I'm doing like I'm just eating a small amount. That's
Okay.
Yes, very small amount.
If this
How about
bites
you,
me in the ass, I'll go back to starving.
How about you, Beef? How's it going?
Oh, I had a quinoa salad today. A bunch of miles under my belt. Slow start because a lot of birthday cake and shit like that. But that's over now, and it's on.
Your birthday was multiple days before
like
the
2
competition
weeks ago,
started.
right?
Yeah, are you still on your fucking birthday?
You should have seen my fridge, man. Like, I don't even know. I think I had 4 people over for my birthday party, and on Tuesday, so it was you guys.
Everyone brought food,
And like it was stacked. I have like 45 cupcakes.
There's only cupcakes from these guys.
But
He had 2
plus
cupcakes,
everyone else brought cupcakes. So it was just
cookies. He got cookies delivered while we were there.
Tiff's Treats, which if anyone's from Austin, Texas,
the dog
Those are the
ate
best.
those. Thank God.
Delicious. Speaking
really?
of delicious. Yeah, Pat, stop eating. Speaking of delicious, Andrew Parker, he's our UK listener who got us into Leeds United. He said Leeds is taking on Liverpool, a delicious matchup on September the 12th, Saturday. And then the day after that, it's the Eagles versus the Washington football team, September the 13th. First game in the NFL season. Means a lot to the people on this podcast. So.
Yeah,
It
let's
sure
go.
does.
Let's go Leeds or whatever their team name. I'm repping them though.
Leeds is going to shock the world, and they're going to shock Liverpool.
Leeds United.
Leeds United and the Washington football team. Well, Eagles from March.
Leeds Football Club.
You guys are going to have a tough year with Leeds and the Washington Football Club.
New coach. What are you talking about, bro? New coach.
Yeah, I'm bracing. And all the stars on LSU are sitting out the season. I'm just bracing for total disappointment.
It's a bounce back year for Will, who had a magical year last year.
Yeah, you can't win the Natty every year. So that's
All right.
what's
We're
going on.
really going to do the Washington Football Club thing.
Yeah.
This
What
is
do
the
you
name
mean?
of the team this year. What do you think? What do you think you call them?
That's a silent protest from Dan Snyder for making him change the team name. He's like,
You
"Fine."
want to keep calling them the R words, Wes? Is
Yes,
that what
I
it
do.
is?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Well, you can't. Not on this show.
Whoa, Wes.
Oh, you can do it. No,
take
my
that
parents
offline,
are
Wes.
doing it. Yeah, go for it. I know other people that are doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are. I mean, all of your gear still has their logo. No one's buying.
I'm
Washington
staring at
Yeah.
I'm staring
Yeah.
at an R words banner in my
Exactly.
office directly in front of my face.
You're not going to get new gear. Come on, not until they
No.
come up with cool new gear.
There's no permanent name yet.
Right.
I taped out all my gear and or sewn. I sewed patches on them, so I'm covered.
Did you really?
Yep.
You're
No,
joking.
no, you didn't.
No,
You're
I
joking.
did. I'm sorry.
wow.
You'll see.
No,
You'll see
Beef
September
is
12th.
not that proactive.
Wow.
I can guarantee
I
you.
learned how to sew this year. I'm way proactive.
Picture evidence or it didn't happen.
Well, I'm not at home right now, but when I get home, I'll show you.
Yeah, I believe it.
He's gonna text someone to go to his house and sew over his things.
Yeah, I can run over there and find it for you tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, you want us to check for on tomorrow?
We
I
can go
don't
over
think
there.
you should go over
Yeah,
my
just
house.
you guys have his keys, right?
Yeah,
Just
we
check
have
it
his
out.
keys. We'll check it out. We'll check it out tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Wanna hit
Let's
some
kick
news?
this off, buddy.
All right, guys. Joe Biden was out in public again today, kind of. He gave a virtual address about the reopening of schools, something he is declaring a national emergency. I like to declare it a national emergency, too. I'm like a fucking slave in my house with this online learning shit. Biden said, quote, "I think going back to school for millions of children and the impacts on their families and the community is a national emergency. I believe that's what it is," he said. Protecting our students, our educators, our communities, getting our schools open safely and effectively. This is a national emergency.
So you're saying that you're just locked inside the house constantly because you can't leave.
Yeah,
can't
I'm a
wear a
prisoner.
condom, right?
Sorry,
Yep.
a slave was not the right term. A prisoner is the right term.
Do you have to help out more with homework now that it's just like right in your house? Like, do you have to help out more with math?
No, because there's the teachers are so boggled down with like creating this online shit instead of just being able to do it in class.
They're barely hanging on.
They're barely hanging on. There's no homework.
So you're saying school needs to open too. You're with this. You're like
half of the classes are recorded like lessons that they aren't even teaching. I mean,
my God.
yeah,
All the teachers learned like shitty magic tricks to like kill time.
right. Yeah, they're like here's the YouTube link is like some of it.
I mean, the only
Seriously.
thing I can compare that to is like the 3 or 4 online classes I took during college because they would offer like a couple that was like, oh, it's online. And dude, as a 19 to 22-year-old man, I didn't fucking watch any of that shit. Like,
No,
if it's
those were
pre-recorded,
awful.
no way, not happening.
Those college courses were the worst.
I don't know
No
how a
one paid
10-year-old could
No
do
one
it.
paid attention to that. Yeah.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah, but they were
So-
easy to pass because you could just do it on your
That's
own
why you
time.
took
They
them.
were they generally pass fail. I don't know what these grades are going on for the grade schools, but most online classes were just like pass fail.
No, literally, like if I want to do something during the day, I'm like, do you have any, recorded classes coming up? Like any bullshit classes coming up? And he's like, yeah, 2. I got a recorded class. I'm like, okay, let's go to the grocery store then.
He's already learning. Nice.
Yeah. Because I was like, those are our times to go do shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
good.
He'll be able to handle college really well with that though.
That's
Like,
true. It does
eventually,
prepare
yeah.
you more for college. Are they going to be doing like science fair projects and shit like remotely? Like how do you grade stuff like that?
Dude,
Wes's science fair is mow the lawn.
Yeah.
right. It's sad.
Chores, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. So, speaking
Learn about
Biden also.
photosynthesis.
Yeah, I mean, we could grow some herbs or something. I don't know. He also jabbed at President Trump and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, whatever the fuck, to their asking them to do their jobs and get some relief funding going for schools, saying, get off Twitter and talk to congressional leaders from both parties, invite them to the Oval Office. And then he also said that Trump hasn't shown much grit at all. So he brought out the grit word. I know that's a big thing for
So he's saying that Trump should break the deadlock in Congress. Basically, that's his complaint.
He's saying that he needs to bring the two parties together and get something done because this is a national emergency that cannot wait any longer. And from what I've been hearing, the reopening schools isn't just about the safety. It's not just about safety. About like it's simple logistics, like having enough staff to reopen schools, like teachers, cleaning crew, cafeteria people, not just masks and safety measures, coaches. It's not just about the COVID anymore. It's people. There's not enough people to open these schools up.
I completely agree with him on. I think Trump should be doing more in terms of encouraging Congress. 100% agree. Congress is slapdicking it left and right, not doing anything. And I think that Trump is pretty persuasive. And if he really wanted to put his foot down, he could get Congress to make some moves. But I wouldn't be using the word grit if I was him because he's not. Biden is like that's like the pot calling the kettle black with the grit.
Right, the guy who hasn't taken questions
Right.
in 5 months or whatever. Right.
But I agree with everything but the grit.
I agree too. It needs to happen. So
that's a definite stones out of a glass house.
Right.
yeah.
And I might
been
take
hiding
no, not taking questions. No.
hiding in his basement.
He did
Yeah,
today.
he did.
Yeah. So refreshingly, he did come with some solutions to lay out versus just criticizing the president, saying, quote, if I were president today, I would direct FEMA to make sure our kids K through 12 get full access to disaster relief and emergency assistance under the Stafford Act. I'd make sure that PPE and sanitation supplies for schools qualify as emergency protective measures. And on top of that, I would be working with leaders of Congress now, today, to pass emergency packages for schools so they have the resources they need in order to be able to open safely. He also added that he would be funding mental illness healthcare in schools, which maybe would bring down the school shootings. And I'll tell you, it sure is fucking nice not hearing about that shit right now. That's a plus. No psychos killing kids in school right now.
Good point.
What are they doing with that frustration right now? Like the mass murderer psycho.
Masturbating viciously.
Hopefully not planning.
There's lots of unrest out there. I don't know if you've seen it, but maybe traveling across state lines to go.
A different kind of unrest. Will I agree? But these guys are somewhere. I don't think Look, yes, there's a ton of unrest, but the type of dude that shoots up a school, different type of dude.
For now, they're taking it out on a video game and their penis. But
Hopefully so.
One last thing.
Making that penis hurt.
Oh, absolutely. exploring every inch. And again, he made the point that millions of kids rely on schools as a safe place to go for food, shelter in some cases. I'm lucky enough to be able to provide my son with a nice computer, some fast internet, some food in his belly. But lots of folks out there are struggling and just can't provide that for their kids. So yeah, probably time to open them back up to those who want and need to go back. Colorado Governor Jared Polis held a press conference on just that subject, saying that just in Colorado alone, 65,000 families do not have internet access at home for their kids. So online learning is a fucking non-option for a lot of these families. So he and T-Mobile teamed up, so they're providing like free Wi-Fi hotspots, free internet. So that's maybe something that could happen pretty quickly through big, not government, but big corporations could be offering that, just like T-Mobile did. So that's an option. So
can we get an example of a state that that isn't Colorado? Colorado has like 2 major cities because of its topography. So I don't like that example for.
You mean like that's like a lot of the West?
But Colorado's a unique state in that it's like, which city in Colorado are you hanging out at? Well, one of the 2, either Colorado Springs or Denver. The rest are like towns because.
It just goes to show you.
There's a lot of communities.
Yeah. I love Colorado.
Isn't that like pretty normal for every state to just have one major city and then the rest of the states towns?
I would say no. I would say absolutely not.
Where we grew up, yeah.
Well, I mean, almost every state when you think about it.
Richmond?
No, I mean, I don't know, Will. I don't know about
A
that.
lot of them. Maybe not the East Coast, but anywhere outside of the East Coast. The South.
Virginia's like
the South and the West. Yeah.
Virginia's
middle.
an example of more like the Southwest, though. Because what do they got? Richmond.
Virginia Beach is a massive city. Richmond, the Newport area, you could consider one big city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a lot of families out there without the access to even be able to go online. So let's see. Let's take it to Caliper. Who says taking care of yourself needs to be hard, guys? What's great about CBD is that it helps you feel better without making drastic changes to your routine. Guys, this stuff is great, right? Helps you sleep better. What else? I mean, sleep better, that's all I really need to try a product. Sleep is so important. So if anything's going to help me sleep better, I'm down to try it. Those droppers full of funny tasting tinctures, are they the best modern science has to offer? Not a chance. Meet Caliper, a better way to consume CBD. Caliper, go ahead. You were going to say something, Mark?
Oh, I was just saying, you said, is that the best science has to offer? And I would say absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No. Yeah. Unlike CBD oils, Caliper CBD powder is completely tasteless and mixes easily in any food or drink. Precisely 20 milligrams in each packet of Caliper CBD. Never question how much CBD you're taking. Again, I used to add this stuff to my tea at night. I know Mark likes to do that. Will puts it in pretty much everything wet. It's tasteless. Dissolves quick.
I'll even put it on anything dry. Yeah, I'll dry dog a Caliper CBD.
You know what the great thing about dry things is they can become wet at any point.
Yeah, that's right. Season a steak with that 20 milligram packet.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, it actually does work.
It's a great way to take out a dog that's blocking your way.
I would say I've gotten
chill them out.
Yeah,
I've gotten so many fucking DMs about Caliper, all 100% positive.
Oh, positive. Everybody who tries it loves it.
Yeah.
Yep. So rediscover your best self with CBD product that's clinically proven to be superior to standard CBD oils. Your body's mostly water. Oil and water don't mix. CBD oil is no different. So it's clinically proven to absorb 450% more CBD than compared to tinctures. And 450% is a staggering number. It makes you go, whoa. Really. 450%. Yeah, that's unreal.
You have to tell someone to sit down before you tell them that fact.
Yeah. Well, it is a fact, Jack.
You don't want to sit down.
Right.
Did you say 40%? No, I didn't.
That is zero, bud.
Sit down, but yeah. Caliper gives you all the benefits of CBD in just 15 minutes, about twice as fast as CBD oil. Caliper CBD comes in affordable 20 and 30 count packs. You can get started for under $20. Unlike some products out there, Caliper is completely THC free, all the goodness of CBD with no high, all natural, non-GMO ingredients, no fillers, chemicals, artificial flavors. Get 20% off your first order when you use code promo FACTOR at trycaliper.com/factor. Trycaliper, CALIPER.com/factor. You can try Caliper CBD risk-free for 30 days. If you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund. You're going to love it. You're not going to get that refund. That's trycaliper.com/factor. Don't forget promo code FACTOR for 20% off your first order.
Got an email today. My newest 30 packs en route. It's on a plane or a truck or something.
If it even makes it, because if the delivery guy, reaches into your stash, he's going to be moving a little slower. You know what I mean?
Maybe we do need those drones.
You're going to be a lot more chill, and guess where it's coming from? Denver.
There you go.
Little callback to
I love Colorado. It's a great state. It's just Hard to get a hotel room sometimes.
Well, they are the home state of the fantastic product, Caliper CBD. All right, let's move it on. We're going to stay out west, guys, but we're going out all the way to the West Coast where we've got a meltdown, a political meltdown on our hands. Everybody is sick of the coronavirus lockdown and, civil unrest in the streets, right? I mean, I'm assuming you guys are. You don't like being locked somewhere, everybody mad at each other, I'm assuming.
You're assuming correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, most people don't like that stuff. Unfortunately, people in states with Democratic, representatives, mayors, and governors are probably a little bit sicker than others because restrictions in those states are generally tighter than in Republican-controlled states, and the potential protests and riots may be lasting a little bit longer, depending on which of those cities you may be in. So let's take a look at 3 examples out west. In Portland, Oregon, Mayor Ted Wheeler wrote to neighbors of his condo apartment complex where he owns an $840,000 condo, and he said, quote, "It'd be best for me and everyone else's safety and peace," unquote, "if I moved out of the building that rioters tried to set on fire for my 58th birthday on Monday." So, yep, pretty good for the neighbors there, Ted.
Was that like a birthday beatdown kind of thing where it was like out of love they were trying to burn it down?
Rioters have been trying to burn down his house for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
And it was like the big push on the 58th birthday because he's, the mayor of Portland.
You can't do that if a guy lives in a condo. That's kind of like, that's an unsaid rule. Like if you want to burn someone's house down and they live in a condo, it's kind of off the table, if you ask me.
Yeah. I have a better idea for him than moving out of the complex to a different place in Portland, and that's just try to stop the riots in Portland. But,
burning down the house is not a great solution, though. I mean, I understand asking him to do more, but burning down the house, this sounds like a West Virginia loss.
Right.
Like every time the Mountaineers lose a game, you go to the kicker's house and try to burn down because he missed an extra point. You try to burn down his house.
Try and find
like
a used couch on Craigslist in West Virginia. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't find a used couch because
they don't sell them anymore.
You think they're going to stop in his new neighborhood? I don't think so.
No.
Anyways, Wheeler is not deterred. He says he stands with the demonstrators regardless of how violent his former neighborhood becomes. Taking it one state over to the Silver State in Nevada, we've got Governor Steve Sisolak, who has refused to open bars and live music venues in the state. Kind of important to the state of Nevada. I don't know if you know, we got a little thing called Las Vegas. But he was filmed last Friday night taking in live music at a Las Vegas restaurant with his wife on August 29th.
And how's that possible, Will? How's that possible?
How could it be possible? He must have liked the restaurant and he must be the governor of the state. He claims that, quote unquote, ambient music can be live in restaurants and is allowed, but on that same weekend, other restaurants in nearby Henderson, Nevada, had their live ambient music shut down by the state.
Did he think he was invisible? Was he in all camo?
No. I mean, he was being filmed from the second story by somebody who immediately posted it on Facebook.
Does he think he's John Cena?
Yeah, he's definitely thinks he's above the law. That seems to be the case.
Pretty easy to make this distinction because ambient music is things like Enya, soft
this is live
jazz.
Band. Right. Yeah.
It's pretty much almost impossible to do ambient music live. But okay.
Right. No, he was sitting front row. He was close enough to the band to reach over and tip with his hand.
I like this rule because I hate live music, except when it's a ticketed event. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than going to a restaurant and like seeing some live music that you didn't want or pay for, because it's just annoying. And I'm behind Steve Sisolak with this.
Oh, okay. Well, I think he should let other people do it if he's going to do it. And finally, taking it back furthest west to the Golden State for our last left coast political fuck up. And this is the biggest one of all, boys. Nancy Pelosi was caught on security camera getting a haircut at a salon in San Francisco, despite the fact that salons have been shut down in California since March. So nobody's allowed to go inside and get a haircut in the state.
Nancy Pelosi is so high profile. Why doesn't she have like a team come to her, like place and cut her hair?
It's insane. It's insane how we'll keep going into this.
I have a guy that comes to me, and that's what I'm saying. I'm super low profile.
she should be like, it's like a wedding every time she's getting her hair cut. Like, she should have a makeup team and a hair team come to her all the time. What is she doing?
She drives me crazy.
Yeah, for decades, huh? You and many others. Salon had just been approved to resume offering outdoor services the following day, so the day after she got caught on camera. But
Pelosi, she has a calendar booth.
Right, that's what it must have been. Pelosi was inside, no mask at all, breaking every state rule about salons, plain and simple. So, I mean, same as multiple other politicians, like you guys pointed out. I mean, other mayors, other politicians breaking rules to get their hair cut. It was so dumb of her. I don't understand. She's like the leader of the entire D party right now, federally. I mean, it's
really,
crazy.
All politicians should be setting a better example. Period.
Right, but especially her, as you guys mentioned, such a high profile.
I've got nothing nice to say about any member of Congress, which she happens to be. So
didn't she claim it was a setup though? Did she claim it was
right? So she got caught on security camera by the shop owner. Let's get into that part. Who was not happy about it, being wildly hypocritical. So they released the footage, taking it to the internet. We have a reporter out in San Francisco, Tal Copan. She says, Pelosi addresses Monday's Salon incident. This was at an elementary school, mind you. She said, I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to many times. It was a setup, and I take responsibility for falling for a setup. I think that the salon owes me an apology for setting me up.
Oh, that's a real, I'm sorry you feel that way. Not an actual apology.
She wasn't supposed to say anything. We had an agreement that she was going to keep this secret, and that's all it is.
If you want an apology from me, you can find it from the salon who owes you an apology.
You do got to wonder who leaks that footage, because the
owner. So what happened was she went to a single proprietor inside a salon, like every salon, and the owner was reviewing security footage and saw Pelosi chilling in her shop. And she was like, this is illegal and fucked up. And she released it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Trump obviously went nuts about it. But more importantly, our boy, Buddha Ben, at Ben Fredette, said, this is an absolute joke at this point. Done with California. Finding somewhere to live where people besides the Speaker of the House are allowed to get their hair cut, because my man Buddha Ben has been living in L.A. trying to get his fucking hair cut, and it's not been allowed for like 6 months plus. I'm a huge haircut guy now that I'm going gray, so I totally understand Ben's frustrations in this situation. He wants a low-altitude, legal weed destination. What is it going to be for Buddha Ben? Is it going to be Vegas, Boston, Vermont, or Canada? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I hope he keeps it in America. Personally, I love Canada, but I don't want to, I like Ben here in the States. It makes me feel warm.
I think Buddha Ben would fit nice in Vermont. I think Vermont's
huge Vermont guy. Yeah.
Curveball. He's going to Chicago. Also legal weed.
That's true. It's another option. Chicago. I forgot to put that one in there. We should just get Buddha Ben on to talk too, because he's just the man. So.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This next story is about the notoriously horny leader of the Hermit Kingdom of North Korea. I'm of course talking about Kim Jong-un. The little guy is known to have what's called a pleasure squad. This is a concept created by his equally horny and tiny grandfather. That consists.
Kyle, what's another name for that?
A pleasure squad.
Yeah, what is that?
A harem?
Yes. Thank
you. A harem of 2,000 ladies, the size of some small armies.
That's impressive.
Sex armies. Anyway, these ladies are reserved.
He has 2,000 personal sex slaves?
Just for him. Those peas only get the royalty. That's the deal. Which actually is
being a communist dictator.
It's pretty sick.
Not a bad gig
Pretty
if you
sick.
get born into it.
For everyone but
everybody
him.
else.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody else gets fucked, but you're just like living large.
And also, so many people hate you that, sometimes you just got to lean into it and get yourself a big old space, make it a harem.
Yeah, he's always concerned about being poisoned. We'll get to that in just a second. These women, they sing, they dance, and they entertain the nation's elite. But after that, they take part in gigantic orgies with Lil' Kim. What's even more sick, guys, is some say that some members of the squad are as young as 13 and are taken out of school to join up.
Come on.
Yeah, long time honored tradition there. Anyway, defectors, guys, from North Korea even say the girls have to undergo invasive medical examinations to prove that they're virgins before they can join. So they don't just take them at their word.
My
So,
God.
so Kim lets his doctors get a peek too. Great.
Oh, by force, I'm sure. Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then he executes the doctors. Kim's grandfather developed the practice of targeting virgins specifically because he believed having sex with them allowed him to absorb the girl's ki or their life force. Whoa. Yeah. Out there.
He's like Highlander, but the virgins give him the power.
Yeah. He's like,
The power to what? Like have a heart attack?
Their-
Like,
their
like,
life
this is
force.
very
Horrible
unhealthy?
person.
It's like a vampire scenario, except with his dick. Anyway, guys, the point of this story, and to the point of today's story, is Kim Jong-un doesn't have just one type. He likes some husky, too. And how do we know this? Well, in her new memoir, ex-Trump administration press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders recounts a meeting between Trump and Kim Jong-un, which she was present for in Singapore, where she looked up to, quote, notice Kim staring at me. We made direct eye contact.
Open mouth.
And Kim nodded and appeared to wink at me. She said, I was stunned. I quickly looked down and continued taking notes. Kim made a pass at Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Okay. Hey.
That's hilarious.
Well, weird move, especially when you got 2K devoted
He knows
sex
what he
slaves.
likes, you know? He knows what he likes.
But it could have been her voice. According to Sanders, Trump took great pleasure in this, in the fact that Kim made a pass at his press secretary saying, Kim Jong-un hit on you. He fucking hit on you. And he did that before suggesting that Sarah was going to have to, quote, take one for the team.
For America.
Yeah, no,
That's pretty
that's
funny.
awesome. Yeah,
That's pretty fucking
He was
funny.
obviously joking, but probably put very conservative Sarah Huckabee Sanders in conservative Christian in an awkward situation.
That's amazing.
Yeah, apparently him and John Kelly were just whooping it up on the limo ride home, being like, "You're gonna
But
have
what a strategic advantage. You didn't even know you were coming in with the perfect look
Yeah,
for his
right.
desires, you know? I mean, it was
That
just-
same trip, apparently, Trump offered Kim Jong-un a Tic Tac, which he very reluctantly took because he thought he was trying to poison him.
It's also got to be a confidence booster, right? I mean, like regardless of your feelings on Kim Jong Un, which should be
you still got
hate
it.
him, which should
Yeah.
be he's disgusting. He's a very powerful man, and he has his pick of the litter back home. So if he's interested in you. In America, that's got to be a confidence booster.
Yeah, it's like when you're a bench warmer and you show up to the clubhouse and you're batting lead off on the lineup. You know that you have a place there. It's pretty impressive.
Is Sarah Sanders married?
Oh yeah, big time married.
Yeah, she is. But she's on Rodman level now. Now you're on Rodman sex level.
What I'm saying is her husband got it good that night. He got it laid on him.
You think? Well, Trump went
Yeah.
up. Trump's the full Trump quote was, "Well, Sarah, that settles it. You're gonna have to go to North Korea and take one for the team. Your husband and kids will miss you, but you'll be a hero to your country." He probably, I'm sure it was real hot sex knowing that the little dictator is interested in his wife. Like, pretty cool. Anyway, that's that.
I'm saying she was walking with an
She was
air of
revved up
confidence.
after that.
She was
Lots of
the one
confidence.
that brought the heat, not her husband.
Oh, you don't think
All
it
right,
was a situation? Well, let me do Predict It real quick. Guys, if you want to gamble on the news and politics, you can do it with us at predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20. That's a unique URL. There's no promo code, but if you go to that URL and you open a new account, put $20 in that account at least, we will match that up to $20. So we'll get you a free 20. 3 markets I'm liking. Easy money to be made right now, guys, and I'm dead serious about this. Which party will win Georgia in 2020? Republicans at 68 cents. I'd say that's a safe bet. Will Trump win the popular vote in 2020? He probably won't. And no is at 77 cents. Yes is at 23. And then
money.
will Trump complete his first term? Now, this is not a huge money maker for you, but it's almost a guarantee. The no is at 11 cents.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a free
That's
$80.
That's
Yeah,
a free 10%.
Yeah, so the yes is at 89. So you're gonna make free
Wow.
10% on your money.
I like that Georgia and then the North Carolina West did before. Those are good.
Anyway,
I took
guys,
Georgia. I put some money on Georgia going Republican yesterday.
yeah,
Georgia's a good one.
that's predicted.
It was at 69 cents.
.org/promo/hardfactor20.
All right, guys, put on your Solatopies because I'm taking you on a safari. We've got some animal stories. First up, a feel-good story. It turns out Pip Squeak, the wiener dog, is no Pip Squeak at all. She's more like Joan of fucking Arc, as the tiny dog with the cute but condescending name traveled 10,000 miles to return to her owners. Her owners left her with friends in South Carolina during the height of COVID because they're boat people that were sailing the world, and they live in Australia, and they were given like a day and a half to get back to Australia, so they just left the dog with friends.
Why the hell do you get a dog in the first place if you're boat people? I take issue with that.
Especially if you're sailing the world, because they have with all the quarantine quarantine.
They just
rules
want
and
Where
stuff.
does the dog end up?
They want
Here's-
everything. They want their
look at
cake. They want to eat
picture
it
of Pip
too.
Squeak. Look how cute she is. Long story short, after changing hands to 3 different households in the States, each more judgmental to the last of the family in Australia, they eventually took her to Los Angeles, where she flew out of LAX to like New Zealand, and then she flew into part of Australia, and then there was like 6 quarantines and blocks, and then she finally flew to her home in Sydney, Australia after like 6 months because
These
one
people
airline
got rewarded for neglecting their dog?
Dude,
one airline was
Fuck.
nice enough to pick up the story. They claim they were like, trying so hard every single day to
You
get the
don't
dog
leave
back.
your
So-
dog. That's period.
Right.
If you
That's
take
the problem.
If you care about your
That's the
dog,
problem.
you rearrange
Right.
your plans to not leave
You
your
get
dog.
out there and you find that fucking dog. Long story short, they were really wanted their dog back. They got it, and she's home. And then they promptly took off and moved to another part of the world where they're living on a boat in like Scotland. So probably going to happen again. But Pip Squeak's back with their home family for now. Next up, and we're going to get worse here, folks, 26-year-old Wilson Madzutsu, 25-year-old Fanwell Munetsi, and 32-year-old Tikawana Matudza of Zimbabwe have been arrested for stealing a police cow. The men took they took place in one of the Earth's oldest crimes, which is cattle raiding or rustling. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but cattle raiding has been going on for 7,000 years.
That's why they brand them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call it stealing the sow.
What does a police cow do?
You know, Will.
Well, it lives on a police farm in Zimbabwe, and it costs $27,000. So when they found the
I think you
dead
miscalculated that.
No, 20
Zimbabwean dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It had a dollar symbol in front of it. It didn't have a Zimbabwe dollar symbol on it. But
Cows are really that expensive?
I guess the police marked it up because maybe they want to bust these dudes down. But they found the cow skinned and tortured and dead. They skinned it and ate it. And they found 2 of the guys in a nearby like shack hiding out. And then they interrogated them, I'm sure very peacefully, until they found the 3rd guy. And now all 3 guys are cooperating with the police. I did a lot of air quotes now. Next up, a 770-pound, 14-foot saltwater crocodile was trapped by Australian authorities in the Flora River, which I believe is not saltwater, but it has saltwater crocodiles in the small town of Catherine, an area that used to be a popular tourist area until this story broke. Last one, and this one's probably the worst. A stray dog was found in Malaysia, spray-painted tail to snout to make it look like a tiger. The Malaysian Animal Association is offering a reward to anyone that can look down. There's a picture.
Wow, that's a good spray paint job.
I know. The Malaysian Animal Association is offering a reward to anyone that can identify the culprit or culprits. And let me tell you, they spray painted every part of this dog, including around the eyes, which is disgusting. But they should probably be looking for the town's best artist because it's a pretty damn good tiger coat.
It's really good, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to guess what the conversion rate is? What the cow costs in American dollars?
What?
It's $2,000. I looked it up.
It's $74.
No way.
Oh, in America.
27,000.
Did you click on the
Average
article?
cow-
It was a dollar symbol.
Average cow costs
They have a
between
dollar there, too.
$2,000 and $5,000.
Do they?
If it's younger, it could cost between $800 and $1,500.
I'm using
a
my
full-grown cow, $2K to $5K.
my trusted
70.
currency
Either way,
exchange.
the-
It's telling me
$4.
The cow
27,000.
costs between $74 and $27,000, and now we're taking it to an interview with the owner of the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillon. Welcome to the show, the creator of the Babylon Bee, Seth Dillon. How are you doing today, Seth?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great. I wish I was in Florida with those palm trees behind you.
It's 2020, so I would be lying if I said I've haven't been better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Florida, the palm trees are nice, but we do get hit with hurricanes. So, it's
true.
This year's
con,
been
right?
pretty light, though, right? Comparatively.
So far, yeah. We've dodged bullets.
Yeah, my wife's from
stays that way.
Tampa. Now, we are a daily news podcast, so I imagine most of our listeners are familiar with or have at least heard of the Babylon Bee, but can you give us a quick summary of what it is and how it came to existence?
The Babylon Bee is a news satire site. So what we do is we basically, in the same vein as SNL skits or The Onion, which is a very popular satire site that's been around for 20 plus years now. We take a look at whatever is going on today in the culture, politics. Specifically with our site, we also look at the church, so, since it was originally started as a Christian satire site. So, we take a look at whatever's going on in the news and the issues today, and we and we do satire on it, where basically we exaggerate the truth to highlight absurdity, use irony, sarcasm, to make a point.
Yeah.
So we ridicule people all the time on both sides of the aisle. We often get accused of being biased, and we're this conservative site that only goes after the left. Well, we are conservatives. We also attack people on our side too. I think Trump is the character we've satirized the most on our site out of anybody else.
Well, that guy makes himself a great target for satire.
He's the golden goose for new satire. We're kind of in that business too. Yeah,
he really is. And Biden is interesting too, because Biden, we can basically just quote him verbatim, and it seems like satire.
Right. Yeah. There's some
two good candidates. Either way, however this election goes, it's good for business in the new satire world. Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
Right. We've mentioned that on our show a couple times. I grew up, and I think Mark did too, a huge consumer of the original Daily Show. And then, like you said, The Onion. They've been around for a long time. And then also just traditional newspapers, which used to have, sort of all sides represented, and now everything, including newspapers, cable networks, including satire sites, have been sort of split, I'd say, where the audience is larger on one side of the aisle for a certain site than it is for the other. Like right now, I'd say probably more liberals follow The Onion, more conservatives follow the Babylon Bee, whether or not
that's fair to say. Yeah.
Right. Whether or not it's trying to be created in a meaningful way, or how that's just how things have evolved. I'd just like to hear about sort of what you think about that, because when I remember back the original Daily Show, the original Onion, I mean, everybody was a target. It really was much more of a unified vision of satire, I think, than what is going on right now.
Well, I think that things have changed some, because what you're saying is true. At the time the Bee was started, that was in 2016. I'm not the founder, by the way. I acquired it a couple years ago, but Adam Ford is the founder of the Bee.
Okay.
And he saw this big void on the right for humor, coming at the issues from a humorous, satirical perspective. There were a lot of people doing it really well from the left, and just wrecking people on the right, just making them look silly and stupid. And
Tea Party years, baby. I'm guessing.
Yeah, their audience ate it up and loved it. And so, but they dominate so many areas. They dominate media, they dominate entertainment, they dominate in education. And so there are voids out there. I think that no one's really nailed down how to make, in several areas, in TV and movies and stuff like that. There's still big voids. Someone needs to fill those gaps.
That's cool.
But particularly in satire, there was a big void there. Adam saw that, started a site, and then immediately took off like wildfire because people were hungry for it. And I think he proved that clearly there was a demand.
It's kind of a reaction then. So it's sort of like when they zigged, you guys zagged a little bit.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, so
counterpunching,
Yeah, there you go. They show their weakness. We are sponsored by Predictit, which is a prediction market. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It allows you to make bets on the news. It's kind of like the stock market of the news. Quick plug: if you go to www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 and create a quick account, we'll give you a free $20 to gamble there. So I have to ask you a few questions about the upcoming elections, because we can bet on these, and we do. How do you think the presidential election is going to go in November? Who's going to win?
Oh, man. If you look at, if you just simply look at what people are saying and what they're predicting, it's very similar to what happened in 2016. I think that everybody was very confident that, Trump was such a mess and Hillary was just guaranteed. What was it? I think New York Times said it was like a 99%
right. High 90s. I remember that.
High 90s or something, that Hillary was going to win, and then
with a 99% chance of error.
I went to bed. I was so convinced it was true at the time, just casually consuming the news at the time. I just went to sleep. I was shocked the next morning.
It was shocking. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was never that big Trump guy who was like, oh, Trump is our savior. But I was surprised when he took that election the way that he did. I think that probably we're going to have a similar situation happen here, especially with how things are going. If you look at what the Democrats are saying right now, they're changing their tune on a lot of things. They're starting to now condemn violence out of nowhere. They weren't doing that before. And I think they're realizing that the American people care a lot about safety, stability, getting rid of this anarchy and this whole idea about defunding police and all of that. I think that
and
so
on
many
top
people,
of COVID year, I mean, it's been a nightmare year for everyone.
yeah, on top of that. So, but right now, I mean, that's what's in the headlines all the time is all this stuff that's going on. And the Democrats have been very soft on it, almost encouraging it. Some of them actually have been encouraging unrest in the streets. And so to have Trump be the one who's standing for law and order, while they're the ones standing for anarchy, I think that plays very badly for them. And it makes sense why they're now changing their tune. And it will be interesting to see how that plays out in the election. But I think that, that silent majority idea, these people who are ashamed to vote for Trump, but will do so at the polls. They're not going to wear MAGA hats out in public and tell you who they're voting for. But I think those people are very energized and motivated to get to the polls. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, Republicans usually show up to vote. It has been such an interesting year. It's been a terrible year, but it seems like the pendulum swings, right? So like for COVID, it's hard for Trump to navigate. And now with the protests and / riots, it's hard for the Democrats to navigate. So it's kind of like, yes, that makes sense. Right now, and the prediction markets have kind of shown that. About a month ago, Biden was up by like 15 cents. Like he was predicted to win like 62 cents to like 38 cents. And now it's getting closer. It's like 55 cents to 46 cents. Biden slightly favored, but the markets seem to be moving towards the center.
I bought some more Trump when he was down at his low of 38. Just because I thought my mindset has been more of the sitting incumbent is really hard to get out without an amazing ticket, historically. But yeah, on top of that, Seth, what you said as well sort of adds up. Makes me feel safer in my bet.
Last question: who's winning the majority of the Senate for a prediction market?
You're asking me?
Yeah. Yes.
You don't have to answer.
You're in the hot seat.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I tend to feel like these things go in pendulum swings. It goes one way, and then the American people are like, "Oh, I'm not happy with that," and there's a low approval rating, and so it swings the other way. And then the American people aren't happy with that either, and it swings the other. And we do this back and forth over and over and over again. All things being equal, I tend to see that as being the trend for what to expect. But this year, man, is so crazy. It's like with everything that's going on, you have the economic uncertainty, you have the COVID stuff, you have the riots and the civil unrest and the racial discord and all that stuff. I don't know. Anybody's guess on that one. You guys tell me what you think.
I do think I agree with you. I do think the Democrats will probably get that pendulum swing and take either control of the Senate, or it'll be like a dead tie is my prediction in the Senate.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Yeah. I mean, all I know is I can't wait till November 3rd because that's going to be. You just got
to go on that website and start gambling with us, Seth. That's the bottom line.
But
I'll check it out.
So Seth, I see that your HQ is in Jupiter, Florida. We do a show each week called Florida Man Friday, just because the news content from the Sunshine State is so rich that you can literally produce a show of insane stories every week, like at least an hour. So it's amazing, but I was noticing that I was just scrolling the Babylon Bee and I didn't see too many fake Florida Man stories. Was wondering, have you considered incorporating more Florida Man, satire, considering you're in the hotbed in the capital?
Well, here's the problem with satire. Since satire kind of exaggerates the truth, it's hard to do the Florida Man stories because those stories are already so absurd, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you think they are satire until you start digging into it and realize this is actually a real news story.
You'd almost have to normalize it to satire.
Yeah. So we actually did. Let me see if I can pull it up because we did do one on Florida Man, but it was like a breaking story about how Florida Man obeys law, stays out of trouble.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly.
Okay. So we flipped it, and that's actually like newsworthy that a Florida man obeys law and stays out of trouble. So
that's Florida.
I love that.
Dog
you got to find the right angle, right?
News, right? Yeah.
Tomorrow on our Florida Man Friday show, which we do every Friday, we have Lane Pittman, who is the Florida Man hurricane fighter. We're interviewing
the guy with the American flag, he
listens to Slayer and he stands in front of the hurricanes. So,
Love that.
So you're in high company. Two great Florida men this week on the show.
Yeah, so that's good. Look, there's no shortage of material for people in our business, the news satire business, as we said. Do you think there will be a large change in the news satire consumer market in the long term? Do you think, like with, I don't know, cancel culture, whatever, you can elaborate however you want, but do you think that the market's going to change where people are going to get in trouble for doing news satire? There'll be more of a market for news satire.
But will it specialize further?
Will it specialize even further? Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's interesting. You know, we've seen some changes since what happened with the last election cycle was there's this huge concern about misinformation, right? And the social media, social networks grappled with how to handle that problem.
Yeah.
And we got caught up in that a little bit. We had the fact checkers. They started instituting fact checking on stories, and then.
But they know your stories are fake, right?
Yeah, they're rating our stories as false, which technically, yes, they are. But they needed like a satire rating because we got notified by Facebook that they were gonna demonetize us and potentially deplatform us and limit.
Isn't there a parody law?
They don't have a law or a policy.
I don't know. I thought there was like a parody.
Right. No, on Facebook
law
ads, there's no parody policy.
Well, just in general, you
because
can't get like sued for parody, right? Like you
yeah,
can't
parody is very well protected under the law. But in terms of like the social
private
networks enforcing their policies, they're just concerned with misinformation spreading.
Right.
And so when the fact checkers would rate something false, the Facebook would then tell us, hey, you guys have to stop putting out false stories or we're going to stop you.
That's your whole business model. Yeah, I mean, it's
our whole business. The story was crazy too. It was CNN purchases industrial washing machines to spin the news in before printing it. And it was like, on the face of it, it's absurd. Obviously, they're not going to spin the news in industrial washing machines.
Right.
It's just a silly premise.
Are they doing this for the Onion as well? Have you seen?
The Onion's been fact checked. They haven't run into trouble with social networks.
More evidence of shadow banning. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get a harder shake though?
We do actually. I mean, we see this kind of stuff happen all the time. It's conservative sites that are most likely to get suspended by mistake all the time. That's what happened with us recently with Twitter. It was a mistake. We got caught in some spam filter. Well, there were other conservative sites that got.
I got COVID fact checked. That was fun.
You got what?
Yeah, COVID fact checked. I think on Twitter it's fun to get tagged with checks.
He used what was your terminology?
I said I was going to vape 5G oxygen.
Yeah, there was an algorithm picking up 5G.
Really? So you got a warning?
Well, they tagged like the facts about COVID-19 onto that.
Right.
And then I tried to recreate it to get in their algorithm, but I think so many people complained about it not being acceptable, so they changed their algorithm.
You're not on the bad boy list. You got to get on the bad boy list.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We don't say that we're being targeted as individuals. We're not like being singled out. I don't think.
Right.
But what you have is you'll have a popular narrative or a politically correct narrative. And there's certain things that you can say that fall within what's correct, what's allowed. And that tends to be whatever's prevailing or predominant on the left. So it's perfectly acceptable to say things about how, whatever the issue is, okay, let's say conservatives are against, same-sex marriage or something like that. Well, same-sex marriage is the predominant politically correct view that it's, that is perfectly acceptable. Well, if somebody who's got a traditional...
As it should be.
Okay, sure. Yeah. But if somebody has a more traditional understanding of marriage and says that marriage should be between a man and a woman, which, by the way, Obama had not that many years ago, that statements like that can get you in trouble now on these networks. So it's whatever the predominant views are, as they shift and change, it tends to disproportionately affect conservatives because they are outside of the norm and the politically correct kind of mainstream view.
Commonly referred to as like mob mentality on the social, right? Like going against like the Twitter mob or whatever, like with their thoughts.
Because the users generally tend to be of one persuasion. It's interesting too. They do track you individually and project what they think your political party is. Every single social site does that, which I was surprised by because you can actually see what they guess you are on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, they have a whole profile on everybody, and there's this just deep rich information.
They got a lot of data on us, huh?
A lot of data.
They have
You
a lot
load
of data on
everything
us.
from your life into it every day, over and
It's
over.
not just
more about us than you know about
TikTok,
ourselves.
not just TikTok that has all of our data. It's a lot of places. Well, listen, Seth, I want to open it up. You can say whatever you want to close, but I wanted to thank you for coming on and say that regardless of what political affiliation you are or whatever, like, and this doesn't go just towards you, but in general, I think that in 2020 and beyond, laughing is a good thing, and the service you guys provide with the Babylon Bee is very funny and a good thing. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge for us because as the world gets crazier and crazier, the line between satire and reality gets kind of blurred, right?
Right.
So every day we wake up, we look at the news, and we're trying to think, how can we do satire today with the world being satire in reality? So It is a challenge for us to stay one step ahead of what's going on in the real world, but it's also a lot of fun, and we like making people laugh. We get messages all the time from people who tell us, that we brought some levity into their day when they're going through a tough time or something like that. So
that feels
stuff like
good,
that
right?
is cool.
Yeah.
And we also, it's also great to be involved in the cultural battle in this war of ideas and this ideological bumping of heads between one half of the country and the other. We have our views and values, and we're not afraid to express them, and we have the right to express them. And so being kind of on the front lines of that battle and fighting for the freedom to say what we think and why we think it is also pretty rewarding and also challenging. So
hopefully they keep that around. That would be good for all of us, right?
Yeah. That's part of what's the First Amendment, right? That's kind of what makes America America. So yeah, hopefully.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Seth. Appreciate it. Good chatting with you. We'll keep in touch.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it, Seth.
All right, cool. You guys are fans of the Babylon Bee? You guys follow them?
When I need satirical
Of
Christian
course.
news, that's where I go.
There you go. So Seth Dillon, he already emailed us back. He had a good time. Thanks for coming on, Seth. And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. Tomorrow is Florida Man Friday, and we have a very special guest tomorrow as well. I don't know if you like Slayer or Fighting Hurricanes, but if you do any of that, you might want to tune in tomorrow because we have an awesome guest. You might want to buy the Hard Factor new T-shirt too, which is fire, HAGFD. It's on the Barstool Sports store. I bought 2. I think the rest of the hosts did as well.
Oh, yeah.
Please leave us 5.
Buy them right now.
Yeah, I bought
have
a
to.
real one, which is an extra large for my current weight, and a dream one that'll never happen, which is a medium.
There you go. Weight loss competitions in full swing, baby. But yeah, leave us a review, follow us on all of our socials, and have a great fucking day.